Hello guys, today I want to talk about something we don't discuss enough in justice reform, not policies, not sentencing lengths, not risk assessment, but mindset, specifically willingness to change. And there's a study called Willingness to Change and Coming Home from Prison, and it asks a really important question. We know that people who want to change are less likely to re-offend, but what actually makes someone want to change? What builds that internal shift? Because if Justice 2.0 is about transformation instead of punishment, then we need to understand what actually creates transformation. In simple terms, willingness to change means being tired of the problems crime has caused, wanting to straighten your life out, being ready to leave negative influences behind, believing you can actually stop committing crime. It's not just saying, I don't want to go back to prison, it's deeper than that, it's identity level. It's the shift from this is just who I am to I want to become someone different, and that's powerful. Because research shows this mindset is strongly linked to lower reoffending, less substance use, more stable housing, more employment, better family relationships. So willingness to change isn't soft, it's not abstract, it's directly connected to outcomes, and that's where this study becomes important. Most research asks, does willingness to change reduce crime? And the answer is yes. But this study asks something different. What experience makes someone more willing to change? Instead of treating change as a result, they treated willingness as the outcome. That's a Justice 2.0 mind shift right there. Justice 2.0 asks what condition creates growth. The researchers used data from over 1,200 men who were about to be released from prison. They measured willingness to change by asking questions like, are you tired of the problems caused by your crimes? Do you want to get your life straightened out? Will you give up friends who get in trouble? Do you believe you can stop committing crimes? Then they looked at experiences before prison, during prison, and background factors like age and offence history, and they asked which of these are linked to higher willingness to change. And the results were, number one, longer time in prison meant more willingness to change. So men who spent longer in prison were more willing to change, maybe because time creates reflection, or maybe because they were tired of the system. It suggests that sometimes sitting with consequences creates space for identity shifts, but here's the thing, time alone doesn't guarantee transformation. Conditions matter. Number two, more prior arrests meant more willingness to change. This might sound strange. You'd think repeat arrests means less motivation, but the opposite showed up. The more arrests someone had, the more willing they were to change. Why? Possibly because they were exhausted. I'm tired of going to jail. That exhaustion can become a turning point to someone. Number three, criminal peers meant more willingness to change. This is interesting. Men who had more criminal friends before prison were more willing to change, not because crime motivated them, but possibly because they realised, if I want to change, I have to leave that lifestyle. And that recognition is huge. Justice 2.0 talks about cultural change. This shows individual level culture matters too. Another one is having a job before prison meant more willingness to change. If someone had worked before prison, they were more willing to change. Why? Because they had experienced another version of themselves. They know stability is possible. Hope matters. Having children too also increased willingness to change. Fatherhood increased willingness to change. Responsibility can reshape someone's identity. It's not just about avoiding prison, it's about becoming someone your child can look up to. And here's the most important part. When the researchers added prison experiences into the model, the ability to explain willingness to change tripled. That means what happens inside prison really shapes mindset. Family, emotional support, increased willingness, having someone to talk to, feeling understood, feeling supported, that increased willingness to change. Connections build change. Family closeness, feeling loved, wanting family involved in your life. Again, relationships drive transformation. You're not isolated. Family conflicts. This is complicated. Even conflicts increase willingness to change. Why? Possibly because tension makes people think, I need to fix this. Because here's the catch. Family conflict also increases reoffending after release. So conflict might motivate change internally but hurt stability externally. That tells us something powerful. Transformation is emotional, it's relational, it's messy. Religious support. Men who found strength in religion or spiritually were more willing to change. Religion can offer a new identity, forgiveness, meaning, purpose, whether or not someone is religious. The bigger point is this: people need a framework to rebuild identity, and Justice 2.0 is able to do that. Religion was one pathway in this study. So what does this mean for Justice 2.0? Justice 2.0 is about growth over punishment, rehabilitation over revenge, cultural change over control, second chances over permanent labels. It's about rules changing, and this study reinforces that transformation isn't random. Willingness to change is shaped by relationships, support systems, conflict, reflection, meaning, responsibility. If we want safer communities, we can't just punish behaviour. We have to build conditions that create internal change. That means offering programs to build identity, focusing on readiness before intervention, reducing barriers to communication, everything that Justice 2.0 is. Because if someone isn't ready to change, no program will work. Justice 2.0 isn't naive compassion, it's strategic. It asks what actually reduces harm long term. And this study suggests building willingness to change is one of the strongest levers we have. So here's the takeaway. People don't just walk out of prison transformed. Transformation is shaped by their past, their relationship, their time inside, their support and tension they experience. Willingness to change is the psychological turning point. And if we can intentionally design systems that increase that willingness, then justice reform becomes more than a policy. It becomes human development. Justice 2.0 isn't about being soft. It's about being effective. And effectiveness begins with mindset. The real question is, are our systems building willingness to change, or are they suppressing it? And that's the conversation we need to keep having for this change. I want to leave us with a few questions, not just about prisons, but about people. So one question you guys can think about is, if willingness to change is shaped by relationships, are our justice systems strengthening or weakening those relationships? Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I will see you guys in episode 2. Thank you.